When dwarves come into conversation, they prompt thoughts of beautifully carved stone, underground fortresses, and networks of homes. Whilst this holds true for a great number of the dwarven kin in the mortal realms, there are some dwarfs who rebel against the stereotype. Rather than stick to their mountain holds, these Duardin move their cities to the sky, living on their floating skyports. These are the Kharadron Overlords. During the Age of Myth, the dwarven kingdoms grew and flourished in the realm of metal. Chamon had been tempered and tamed into the perfect ground for innovation by the dwarven god Grungi, and so the Duardin, men and golem kind that dwelt there had all they needed to build tall and dig deep. As the attention of chaos began to draw to the mortal realms, the god of magic and trickery, Tzeentch, sought to claim Chamon as its own. Tempting dwarven kings via whispers in the night to dig deep and greedily, Tzeentch was able to distract and spread thin the people of Chamon. By the time the Chaos God had managed to lure the legendary god beast known as the Lode Griffin to the centre of Chamon, it took great effort for the Duardin to bring enough forces against it to defeat the god beast. Its ritualistic death was twisted by the followers of Tzeentch, however, and its death cry tore a portal open, from which spilled horrors and demons of Tzeentch. In order to escape this relenting onslaught, the Duardin kings looked to the skies. For most, it was too late, their forces unready for large-scale invasion. For those, though, further from the conflict, they were able to lift some of their kingdoms up into the skies using the powerful resource called Aethergold. High above the lands they had once called home, the gyrocopter pilots fought against winged demons to protect these refugees. After great bloodshed, some of these flying escape pods managed to break free from Tzeentch's reach, coming together to aid one another. The key to their safety was flight, and the key to flight was Aethergold. A unique resource formed where the air in Chamon is thick with magic. It can be used as a fuel to keep the cities and the ships of the dwarves afloat. With the forces of Tzeentch still a constant threat, the floating dwarven cities began seeking out more and more veins of this Aethergold, developing new techniques and ships capable of harvesting it more efficiently. Due to the importance of this precious resource, fierce competition began to grow between what had begun to be called skyports, with these cities forgetting their hope of ever returning to land, instead embracing this cloud-based naval lifestyle. Any civil warring or even minor infighting could spell disaster for the burgeoning skyports, and so a meet was agreed upon by the leaders of the remaining dwarfs. Together, a code was created, a set of rules that each skyport would live by. Meeting on the island of Madralta, this Council of Necessity debated for days on the contents of the code, with the leaders of 7 floating kingdoms meeting beneath the shadows of their skyports, each pointing numerous cannons and other assorted armaments at one another. Whilst the talks weren't exactly peaceful, the threat of a shared impending doom kept guns unfired and swords in their sheaths. The eventual decisions were drafted into a set of rules, a code for each of the skyports to operate under. The old royal bloodlines had failed to save their people, and the gods had been strangely absent during this crisis. No longer would the Duardin look to one figure to lead them, instead trusting in the skyport, trusting in the Kharadron Code.
It was not the gods that saved us. It was not even our sky vessels, nor the thunder of our guns. It was compromise. It was negotiation. It was a transaction between equal parties. The code saved us and made us what we are today.
An old dwarven word meaning born from the sundered mountain, Kharadron became more than just the name of their code. It became the arcing name for the empire that these skyports would become. In the beginning, the skyports were floating fortresses, built and reinforced from a necessity that can only come from a horde of demons hot on your heels. Fast forward to present day in the mortal realms, and they haven't lost any of that original firepower, but they have become something more. Each is a hub of trade and activity, housing thousands of inhabitants and bustling with guests from other ports and from the ground. These non-Kharadron visitors, however, cannot pass beyond the Skyport's docklands, relying on the enterprising traders set up in these districts to meet their needs. Deeper within the port lies homes, gambling dens and taverns. At the centre of it all lying the nexus of governmental and administration buildings. Although the extraction and distillation of Aether Gold doesn't produce any nasty byproducts, the construction of the Kharadron's fleets, armaments and other refining causes grand pollutions. Despite the great bellows and the drifting of the skyports, there is often an ever-present cloud of smog surrounding the factories and warehouse districts of the skyport. Each skyport is governed from the desire of profit, and each decision is justified from the code. Overall commanding decisions within a skyport lie with the Admiral's Council, with the 6 largest guilds assisting the council and having the most say. The Admiral's Council is made up of the most successful officers of the fleet, and a seat on this table is the highest aim and honour for any Kharadron Skyfarer. While an Admiral has command of their fleet whilst out of the port, upon return they are subject to the power of the Council, and their contract can be rejected should they fail to deliver as promised. Each crew member is a shareholder in the voyage, as per the code, and so each has a vested interest in ensuring that their voyage is a successful one. Each skyport looks to be the most profitable and hold the most capital, measured in Aether Gold shares. Those with the highest capital boast the most seats upon the Grand Council, called the Geldrad. Ruling over all matters of the Kharadron, each skyport will support and push their fleets to further and greater feats of profit, all vying to gain a steering hand on Kharadron society. With all this backing from their skyports, it's easy to understand how the Kharadron Overlords are capable of maintaining a powerful fleet presence in the mortal realms. From their massive ironclads down to their escort gun haulers, each ship, engine rigger and aether chemist pulls their weight to ensure the future of the Kharadron Overlords is not only long but prosperous. For those outside of the skyports who they made contracts with, they hold true to their word above all else. Those who make these deals with the dwarves from the sky understand exactly why the Kharadron Overlords offer their aid. From the skies they come, for riches and glory.